time for And the Winner is Motorsports Show, a production of the ETV Live Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Get ready for 2 fun-filled hours of racing dialogue, race results, commentary from drivers, promoters, sponsors, media dignitaries, and much, much more. And now, the racing devil, Mike Neff, and the ringmaster of motorsports, Wesley Outland. This is And the Winner is Motorsports Show.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the November 19th edition of And the Winner is Motorsports Show, a broadcast of the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. By the way, happy Thanksgiving, happy Turkey Day to everybody out there. Like I always say, happy Turkey Day to you and yours this upcoming Thursday. I am the ringmaster of motorsports, Wesley Outland, and joining me as always, the racing devil, Mike Neff. It's not your time of the year anymore, is it? Your howling starts to slowly but surely fade away after Halloween, Mike.
I could be. I'm just wore out.
Yeah, you are an old man.
I'm an old man. It's been a long year of racing. Fortunately, I didn't drive all the way to Myrtle Beach for nothing this week.
For nothing. For not a damn thing. Exactly. Myrtle Beach 400 postponed until March the 22nd. How stupid is that?
I have no idea. I don't know. I don't get.
Stupid as having a cell phone fall through a sectional couch.
That's dumber than that. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, I understand not doing it this weekend. It's Thanksgiving. Nobody's going to show up. But why not the first weekend in December? You know? I mean, I just don't get why you're going to push this thing out 4 months. I don't know. Your buddies with the guys down there at Myrtle Beach. Why don't you have one of them come on and tell us about it?
I'm definitely going to try to get Mr. Bob Lutz to be on the show to talk about it. I was actually supposed to have left yesterday and made the trip down to Myrtle Beach for the 400. And, well, when I woke up and saw the rainfall, I was like, well, this ain't going to be good. And then I was texted by Bob. He told me to hold off on coming, and that was like at 7 o'clock Sunday morning. And he's like, we're going to have to really make a decision here, but we really don't. He texted me, and he said, it doesn't look good. So, but I wish we could get Langley. Can you get Langley Austin to get on the show, Mike, to talk about it? I think that's what we should get. Langley Austin from Race22.com.
I'll ask him.
I think that's what we should get. Can't go down any more than what I got, John. So anyhow, great season opener at Clary's. After being shut down in 4 years, Mike Neff, great fan count, packed the house on a cold Saturday night. By the way, you heard that broadcast on the ETV Live Network. And then, of course, and of course, also just an awesome racing event and over 90 dirt cars there, Mike. That's a great way to bring that place back to resurrection.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm pretty proud of them. Now, they're planning on running more this winter, or they're going to pick it up in the spring?
We're actually having a big inaugural Clary's Thanksgiving Dirt Bash this weekend. 2 days of racing, Friday and Saturday, the 23rd and 24th. Then there's going to be a big enduro event for $1,000 to win, 200 laps. Then the first Sunday in December. And then they're possibly going to decide in the drivers' meeting this weekend whether they would like to continue to race in the winter. I'd say go for it. I mean, if it gets down to like 20, 30 degrees as the high, you can't race in that kind of weather. If it's 50-degree day, temperature's cool, kind of mildly warm, sun's out, hell yeah, by all means, I would race.
Well, yeah, but the problem there is trying to plan it. You can't just, Saturday morning, wake up, look outside, and go, okay, we're going to race today.
Well, I know that.
I'm ahead of time, but can't tell more than a couple days ahead what the weather's going to be like.
Right, I understand. So what'd you do this weekend, Mike?
What did I do this weekend? Sat around on my fat rear end on the couch watching racing. Watched the trucks on Friday, Nationwide Saturday, Formula One Sunday, and then Cup on Sunday. In between.
And once again, the Cup race was boring as hell. A snooze fest.
Awful. It was absolutely awful. In between, jumped in the car and drove downtown and tried to sell some ladies' clothes. That didn't work out so good. And then here we are.
You tried to sell ladies' clothes? Is that what you said?
Yeah, Yvonne had some old clothes she's not wearing anymore because she's slimming down and she's fitting into some other stuff. So she was wanting to get rid of some of her old clothes. Took them down to a place called the Clothes Mentor that sells women's clothes and tried to sell some of them all.
I heard that. Well.
Sticking. But I watched that. The Formula One race was phenomenal. I mean, that track looks amazing, and the racing was fantastic, which you don't usually get with Formula One. So it was very cool. I was glad to see that was successful. I hope it continues to be that way.
Hey, Mike, I got something I got to play for you, buddy. I haven't played this for you in a long time. Maybe it'll get you back in the mood again. Okay. Are you there?
Yep.
Okay, this is for you, buddy. This is your Thanksgiving gift from me to you. Time to play the game. Time to play the game. I had to find that for you and play it for you, my friend. I had to find that song for you.
I appreciate it. Sounded awesome.
I know how much you like Triple H.
Heck yeah. I actually like Goldberg better. I hate that he got out so early.
Oh, you like Goldberg?
Oh, yeah.
I think it would have been an awesome match to see Goldberg and Austin fight each other. Baldhead versus Baldhead. Mr. Clean versus Mr. Clean.
I thought they wrestled one time.
Maybe they did. Hell, I can't remember. Oh, man. Hey, we got a great show lined up tonight. Tonight, Kevin O'Brien, the winner of the $8,000 four-wheel drive race at Screven Motor Speedway, had over 90 cars try to make that race for $8,000. And when it was all said and done, Mike Neff, Kevin O'Brien won that event.
Four-wheel drive or front-wheel drive?
Front-wheel drive.
Okay. Said four-wheel drive, I was going to be like, wow, that's cool. I don't think I've ever seen a four-wheel drive.
Absolutely. Mike Marlar, the Winfield Warrior out of Winfield, Tennessee, is going to be on the show with us again. Why, Mike Neff? Because he did what?
He won back-to-back this weekend.
Back-to-back? All you people say I'm cheating on tires, you can kiss my ass, is what he said to them. We'll have Mike Marlar on the program. Alan Dietz, the voice of the Pro All-Star Series, will be on the show to talk about the upcoming event, the final race of the year at Concord, and sadly, what might be the last race ever at Concord Speedway, the Mason-Dixon Meltdown, Mike Neff.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You know the track's going under, right?
The track's not going under. They're not going to run weekly on the big track. But that's...
Which is stupid.
That's going under. Well, I mean, I don't know how stupid it is. You got to have people to race or nobody's going to come to watch it. You got to spend a fortune to run a place. If nobody's going to be there to watch it, it's not worth it. And the problem is getting people there to race. I mean, I don't know. I tend to believe Ernie Irvan when he says they need to take the kink out of the backstretch. I mean, it's a cool feature in the track. It makes it unique. But at the same time...
What has Ernie Irvan got a right to say anything about racing anymore? He's freaking been done since the 90s.
Because his son's racing. He's at Concord trying to get Concord to continue running. But the problem is, while the kink makes it unique, it also makes it fast. And the end result is, when you wreck at Concord, it's expensive. There's no, like, small wrecks at Concord. You wreck at Concord, it's a clip. And guys can't afford that, so they can talk about it's fun to race there and talk about how cool it is to go that fast. Bottom line is they're all wussies because they are afraid they're going to wreck. If they wreck, it costs them too much money. So I don't know that they're going to – I don't think it's going out of business. They're going to run the quarter mile all year. But on the
they're going to run the quarter mile. Get ready to see go-karts and Legends cars, everybody, and maybe the mini Outlaws if that takes place.
Dude, did you not see they ran street stocks on a quarter mile this year?
Street stocks should be on the half mile.
I would love to see them run late models on a freaking quarter mile. I think that would be phenomenal. But that's a Langley Austin thing. He's had me hooked on that for a while.
Did you get up with Langley?
Yeah, you want to call him?
Yeah, let's call him. Let's give him a buzz and talk about this whole Myrtle Beach deal. Anyhow, we got 3 great guests lined up. Mike Marlar, the Winfield Warrior, winning at the Georgia State Outlaw Championship at Screven. He'll be on with the Ultimate Series win, talking about that race Saturday in Sylvania, Georgia. Also, Kevin O'Brien, winner of that event. Kenny Compton, who won the late model race at Clary's. I wanted to get him on the program. He's busy. Chris Parker's busy. They won the races at Clary's for the reopening of the relighting of the Ring of Fire. Great show, packed house. And by the way, ETV Network, Mike Neff, they broadcasted it. We were able to, at the last minute, put all the kinks together and broadcast the race flag to flag. Heat races to the checker flag fell for the late models on Saturday night.
All the way up till 12:30. We might add.
Yeah, John was kind of. Hey, that's not a bad time though to finish up with a dirt race. That's not bad.
Be done at 9:30 and you close the doors at 12:30. That's a bit much.
Well, no, I told him that we were going to start heat races and hopefully be started with the features by 9 o'clock. Maybe he misinterpreted.
Maybe he interpreted from the sim world that if they're starting to race at 9, they'd be done by 9:30.
I guess.
I don't know how that stuff works.
And by the way, don't forget tonight, the RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship by me and Michael Keaton in the booth for the final race of the year at Homestead before Thanksgiving, Turkey Day. And what do you say we give Langley Austin a call? Will he answer?
I don't know. He said okay, so give it a shout.
All right, we're going to try to give Langley a call. And by the way, after tomorrow, I will have me a new cell phone, Mike Neff. I have had a bait of the crap with Sprint. I just want to let you know that.
What you going to get?
Sprint and Boost, Nextel, they all suck.
What you going to get?
I'm going to get me a Verizon phone.
I love it. Come over to the dark side, buddy. That's awesome. So proud of you.
I need me a new phone, dude.
And you actually
I'm so sick and tired of going everywhere all over the country now in the last 2 months, and there's not a damn phone signal anywhere. Then I get cussed out by my newlywed wife. Why don't you answer your phone? You're ignoring me.
Well,
you got phone signal?
There's the one trade-off you got to worry about, because now you got Verizon, you're not going to be able to use that excuse anymore.
I know, that's not what I should keep it or not.
Before you were able to say, yeah, well, the phone didn't ring because I was out of service.
Yeah, but I'll talk to her. She don't bother me.
Once you get a Verizon, it ain't going to matter.
Can you hear the phone ringing? Hang on a minute.
I do not. There you go.
All right, I just want to make sure it's working good. Langley Austin always loves to speak his mind. It's the first time I have Langley on the show. Race22.com, all late models all the time.
Race 22 is the short track racing authority. Third on dirt is all late models all the time.
I know, I just realized that, smart ass. The short track racing authority is race22.com. But strike one, Langley didn't answer.
No? I thought that was him saying hello.
Nope.
Wait, he says call him on the home phone.
Oh, he just texted you? He'll call him on the home phone?
Let me send you a text. Although I don't know where my phone
I got
is.
it. I got his home number. Hang on a minute.
Yep. Begins with 540?
Yes.
Okay.
From the Commonwealth of Virginia. and the Short Track Racing Authority, Langley Austin from Race22.com, joining us on the program.
The
Langley,
world
how you going, my
headquarters.
friend?
What's going on, guys?
Dude, I saw all your comments. I saw all of your displeasures of how you thought of things. I'll tell you what. Do you think that the Myrtle Beach weekend was a joke this year?
Well, let's back up. You saw displeasure from a lot of other people.
Oh, not just you, but from a lot of folks. Yeah.
Well, not really me. I mean, I had a problem with the way they handled practice. But other than that, I mean, I think that Myrtle Beach Speedway and the Myrtle Beach 400 was exceptional. I hate that the race didn't get in, and I hate that the rain date is so far away. But I understand it's a business decision, and at the end of the day, they're there to do what's best for their business, and to do what's best, for them. And that ain't necessarily what's best for Race 22 or the racers, but it really doesn't matter. I run a business, and I understand that they have a decision to make, and I don't blame them one bit.
Yeah, but I got a question, though, Langley. I mean, look, it's a big NASCAR event. Couldn't they have just postponed it and ran it on a Monday? I mean, wouldn't that have been the smarter thing to do?
I don't know. I guess it depends on what you call smart. Let me explain something to you. and I know this is why you guys call me, because you know that I'll tell you crap you never expected to hear.
You tell it like it is. That's why I like you.
You give us
But
insight
let
that
me
no one
explain this
else
to
can
you, okay?
enlighten us with.
They moved the race to the day before their 2013 season opener, which means that, I don't know, roughly 28 to 32 of the guys who made the field for that race will be there. Gives them an opportunity to, put other guys in the field from guys that don't show up. And those guys are already there. Why wouldn't they stay on Saturday and run for 5,000 to win? And let's just say that 5 or 6 of those guys are, out-of-towners who don't mind traveling to races. They get wrapped up in the points. And then all of a sudden, Myrtle Beach Speedway has 5 or 6 new guys running every week. I don't know what anybody else thinks, but from a business standpoint, I think it was rather genius myself.
My question is, from a racer standpoint, if you're a racer, you're going to get a new car for next year. Do you really want to start off your season with your new car running the Myrtle Beach 400? And if you don't, then are you stuck having to maintain 2 cars going into next year? Because
The wrong guy, because I've never car.
And make sure I'm not misstating. Are they not offering refunds? From both sides.
That's one thing that I feel like I can do pretty good, and that's one thing that I think makes Race 22 so good is that we go out of our way to see both sides, and I think from a racer standpoint, it was the most ignorant decision ever. Okay. Why not come back Monday? Why not just come back and go over top of the Thanksgiving Classic? Doesn't make any difference. They're already there. They're already paid. They're coming back anyway.
Hey, by the way, Langley, if you remember, a couple of years ago, as a matter of fact, it was about 2008, 2009, the Myrtle Beach 400 got rained out Sunday, and they turned around and they came back on that Saturday and they made it up.
Well, actually, they came back the next Sunday, actually. But,
right.
Yeah,
okay.
I agree.
But now,
I agree. And,
are they not offering refunds?
I think, honestly, that would have been a good decision this year. Just come back the next Sunday, from a Myrtle Beach standpoint, who gives a crap what Southern National's doing? I mean, is Southern National giving them a royalty check on what's getting done? No. So why give them a free pass? Doesn't make any difference. Go head-to-head with them.
Right.
Well, I mean, I don't blame them for not wanting to run on a Thanksgiving weekend, but I just having to wait that long. Are they or are they not offering refunds to guys that don't want to come back?
Refunds? Yeah. Dude, we're going to have to put you. We're going to have to put you in your own business for a week or two. You'll figure out that refunds only exist at Walmart. Okay. Refunds don't exist in real life, in real business. I mean, you have to. Guys paid us to do live coverage this weekend, and there are no refunds. The race rained out, and we really don't give a crap. You know what I mean? We were there to do our job. They were there to do theirs. The racers paid to get in. They saw the forecast a week ahead of time. They got nobody to blame but themselves.
Oh man, Langley's telling it like it is from
I mean,
racing.com.
I don't know. I don't have a problem if your makeup date is a month in the future or 3 weeks in the future. But when you're talking 4 months
Monday.
out,
They should have ran it today.
I don't.
I
who the
totally
hell's going to
agree
be in the
with Langley.
stands today?
Well, let me ask you something.
Go ahead.
The sad thing about the whole deal is I stayed in Myrtle Beach last night. I stayed there all day yesterday. And after about 1 o'clock, it spit rain maybe a couple of times. We could have raced yesterday.
Are you serious?
But I'm 100% serious. There's no question in my mind we could have raced yesterday. But
Wow.
I'll tell you this, too. When I got to the racetrack, right after they had called it, I'd have never thought there was any chance they could race. And the forecast showed, so much more rain than that.
Oh yeah, I don't blame them for calling
it's a business decision. They made a decision, and it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't blame them for calling it at all because, I mean, I looked at it. When I heard they had called it, I pulled up weather radar and looked at it, and I'm like, holy crap, they ain't got a snowball's chance of getting into today and probably tomorrow. But I don't know. I don't.
I mean, I left earlier this morning, around 9 o'clock or so, 8 o'clock or so, and, it hadn't rained, and it didn't look like rain, and it didn't rain hardly at all, if any, after 1 o'clock yesterday.
Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, but
Mike.
I mean, and we've talked about that on this show multiple times this year, guys calling races early, and from the promoter standpoint, you got to make money. And if it looks like it's going to rain, there's a prediction that it's going to rain, getting people in the stands is hard to do. So you go in advance, make sure everybody knows that you're canceling it so that they don't waste the time coming. It's kind of a trend in the sport these days, but it's the way the promoters are going to make sure they're keeping fans happy and making money. So I don't blame them for calling it. I don't either, but I also look at the other side of the coin. Okay, They knew ahead of time that the weather was going to be like this. They knew on Saturday. They knew what was coming on Sunday. If you knew that there was a chance that you were going to have to call it, and it was as big a chance as it was, and you're not drawing anybody into the damn race anyways, okay? Nobody's coming in, excuse my language, but nobody's coming in on Sunday to watch the race in that cold weather. Nobody's going to get wet if it does rain. Nobody wants to sit through that crap. Saturday night was perfect. We could have dropped a rag. It could have been over with. We could have been gone, and everybody would have been happy, except for the one person that was going to travel down on Sunday. Yeah.
Right. But a majority of them big late model teams, they're already there on Friday.
Yeah, but the people that were going to travel down on Sunday weren't going to travel down knowing what the weather was going to be like.
And I'll tell you this, too. All these drivers, I see them on Facebook all over the place. And while I understand their deal, I understand that they're upset, about the whole deal and the way the tires are being handled and, blah, 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 whatever. I understand all that, but at the same time, it's like one of the veteran racers there told me, you can't be mad at somebody else because you're stupid. Okay, all these guys
Leslie
are mad
is all the
because
time.
they all bought an extra set of tires for the halfway point of the race. When on Saturday they too knew that it was going to rain on Sunday. They also knew that there was a chance it was going to get canceled. And instead of asking if they could wait to buy their tires on Sunday, like this driver did, they just said, "Hi, we got to get over here. Let's get our tires. Hurry up." Okay, so that's the racetrack's fault? No, it's not the racetrack's fault. It's not their fault at all.
Oh, Langley's awesome, Mike, now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm cool with that. There's no rule that said you had to buy the tires. I completely agree there. I love racers, but sometimes they're their own worst enemy. Oh yeah.
I mean, come on, guys. And some of them are going to be listening to this, and they're probably going to call me and cuss me out. I really don't care. They ain't going to be the first person. Lynn Carroll called me last week, so let's just join the club. You know
Wait a
what I
minute.
mean?
Why did Lynn Carroll call and cuss you out for?
I didn't say he cussed me out.
He didn't say he cussed him out.
But he did call me last week, and that was an interesting conversation. I probably shouldn't have even mentioned it. But
Langley, I got a question. What's the whole deal? What is your thoughts about the whole deal of what happened at Martinsville with Ronnie Bassett? Because I know Race 22 covered that thoroughly.
You really like putting me on the spot, don't you?
Hell yeah, I love it.
That's why Wesley had you call.
I'll say this, okay? I like Ronnie Bassett Jr. I like his family. Always got along. But at the end of the day, if the officials tell you to do something, I don't care whether you like it, and I don't care whether you disagree with it. At the end of the day, shut your mouth and do it. I mean, just shut up. Just shut up. That's all you got to do is just shut up.
Right.
And move on. And, if you do something wrong and they call you to the trailer, just say you're sorry. I don't care if you really are or not. Just say you're sorry. That's all you got to do.
That simple.
At the end of the day, you have to make better decisions.
Eat
we
crow
all do. I make dumb decisions every day.
Eat crow and be humble about it.
Exactly. You have to just take your punishment because as a racer, you don't own the sandbox that you're playing in. So
Nope.
Be respectful. Have enough sense to just say, I screwed up. Let's get on with it. You know what I mean?
Now, do you feel like there's going to be any way that Ronnie will be able to run NASCAR again? Is there a chance he can appeal it and get it dropped? I know that's one thing you discussed, Langley, was, man, I can't believe NASCAR stuck it to him that hard. But, I mean, if you're black flagged 15 times and then you get the skull flag and you still don't listen, to me, that's just insubordination.
Well, I think we all learned with Leif Williams' indefinite suspension last year that indefinite is not very long. And I honestly believe that had he appealed it, which he did not, had he appealed it, he could have raced at Myrtle Beach this past weekend.
Really?
I feel pretty certain of that, and he'll be back next year. He won't compete in any more races this year, which, I mean, obviously there's only one more. And he'll be back in the Myrtle Beach 400 next year, I expect.
So how does he get back into NASCAR? What would that process be? Since he did not appeal it, he didn't protest it, what would they just contact him and say, okay, we think you've learned your lesson, here's your license back?
You gotta pay a $300 fine, and then he's got to apply for reinstatement.
Exactly.
That's it.
Well, all he has to do,
it.
he doesn't even really have to apply for reinstatement. All he has to do is apply for a NASCAR license, and it'll immediately go to review.
Really?
Yes. So his $300 fine, apply for a NASCAR license, and it immediately goes to review. And I can tell you, I mean, I can't tell you who told me, but I can tell you for sure he'll be back next year.
Really? Definitely. Was that Lynn Carroll that told you?
Now see,
Look,
what would you ask me something like
He's
that?
just got done telling you that he wasn't going to talk about what he and Lynn talked about, and then you got a prod.
Well, let me tell you something. I will not tell anybody what me and Lynn talked about, but I will tell you this. Everybody was upset last week when we put out the story about the NASCAR rule changes, and everybody, half the people know that it's true. Half the people think that it's a lie. We got about 12 halves of the people here. My math ain't real good.
Right.
50% plus 50% plus 50%.
Yeah.
I ain't real good with math there.
That's
but anyways,
150% like there.
Anyways, people can think whatever they want to think. But at the end of the day, Lynn was upset that, his phone rang too much. And that, we had put stuff out there that at the moment is not necessarily true. But I can tell you that, if you got a chance to read that story, you can pretty much bank on it. You can't bank on a timeline, but you can pretty much bank on all of it happening.
Absolutely. One thing I can say emphatically as a statement is when Langley Austin and the crew from Race22.com post something on the Short Track Authority, you could pretty much rest assured, Mike, that it's going to come to fruition.
Next year on April 1st. I got a good April Fool's joke for everybody next year. It's going to be good.
Awesome. I got to run for a second, y'all. Hang on.
Well, Langley, I have a question, dude. What do you
All right.
think of Kinley doing what they did about, hey, open invitation, anybody from Myrtle Beach, you want to come and practice, shake your cars down on the Sunday, the sun's shining. By the way, it was raining here too. It was overcast, kind of sprinkling, but not that bad. But what do you think of that, letting the guys come from Myrtle Beach to come up and practice on the house that Kinley done?
I don't know. Did anybody go?
I don't know.
I mean, you know, the thing
Hey,
about
what is
it
your
is,
thoughts to Southern National? Just point blank. We had Michael Diaz on the show last Thursday. He talked about the big Thanksgiving race, the return of the Classic. But overall, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, I think they've done a good job, you know, coming back and trying to resurrect the place this year. I mean, Michael Diaz and Jerry Brown, you know, they've worked really hard this year with their whole staff. Everybody's worked really hard to try to make it, and I think they're doing a good job. I think they're on the right road. I think they've, you know, I mean, every racetrack I go to that I could say, okay, here's a list of 100 things I'd do differently, okay? And Southern National is no different. I mean, I could make a list there, I'm sure, and I haven't even been there this year. But just from listening to racers and, you know, some of my guys that have been there and fans and, you know, all that stuff. But you know, at the same time, they're doing a good job. They're working really hard, and I hope the Thanksgiving Classic goes, you know, just great for them this weekend.
Absolutely. Is Race 22 going to be there to cover it?
Race 22 is everywhere. You know,
I know you are.
We're always top of the action.
Hey, by the way, thanks for not answering my call yesterday.
Well, you know, you called me at 7 o'clock in the morning. I mean, how long have you known me, okay?
Hey, but you always tell me, though, Wesley, I'll be up early on the weekends for race day.
Well, see, you got confused. You thought that 7 was early. That's like ultra early, okay? I was up at like 8:30 or something.
I'm back.
Wow. And I know why you didn't call me back, because it got rained out.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, you know, could look off my balcony and go, yeah, this ain't going to work.
Wesley's calling me about coming to the race and damn thing for falling a flood outside, yeah.
But you know, the bad thing about it, you weren't even the only one. I had 2 or 3 others, you know, say, hey, we're going to be down there. Make sure we're on your list, blah, blah, blah. You know, I'm like, dude, I mean, do you not have weather on your phone?
Look outside, you dumbass.
I mean, jeez, man.
Wow.
It's, I don't know, man. I don't know. This radio show sounds exciting. I mean, I'm glad I was here to liven up y'all's night.
I appreciate you being here to liven it up.
I appreciate you being here too, Langley. I mean, our show's exciting always every Monday night, but hell, you just made it
Much more enjoyable.
Langley, what would be the highlight of the year as far as for what's happened with late model stock racing? Are you there, Mike Neff?
I'm here.
Where's Langley at?
Boston.
We'll call him again.
Really quiet.
We'll call him again.
Cool.
I ain't
To give you a heads up, I'm going to have to bail here in a little bit because I'm on call for work this week, and I just got a call.
Oh, no.
So
Oh, wow.
I may have to bail. I'll be back. It ain't going to take that long, but I'm going to have to bail out for a little bit.
We sign off at 8 o'clock.
I know. But
Langley, what happened
within
to you,
30
dude?
minutes.
You went off? You get mad and hang up on us?
I don't know. I think y'all cut me off. I think I made your show too lively. I don't know.
No.
you were
I
done
got a
talking.
question for you. No, man. You make it 10 times better. I got a question for you, though. What would probably be the story of late model stock racing this year for 2012?
Man, you know, I don't really know. I mean, I think obviously your 2 big headlines of 2012, you know, was first Philip Morris losing his ride, and then him coming back and you know, being just as good as he ever was. You know, and then Lee Pulliam, you know, his suspension, which you know was indefinite, which we found out was, I don't know, 6 months, 7 months, whatever it was. Wasn't very long. Probably wasn't that long.
Wrong.
But you know. That's like a lifetime ban in NASCAR. You know, indefinite suspension is a lifetime ban. Unfortunately, it's a lifetime of an and. You know, so
wow.
Whatever. But anyways, him coming back and winning the national championship, I think that was a huge story. I mean, and you know, as much as you know, Lee and I don't get along, I got, you know, mad respect for the dude. I mean, awesome job that he did coming back and just being, you know, being the best guy in late model stock car racing the entire time that he was running.
Absolutely. No doubt about it. Mike Neff, go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I got to say I'm pretty much on par with that. I thought the biggest story to start the year was Philip losing the gig. I mean, your defending national champion is out of a ride, and then his chief rival comes back in a couple months later and ends up just going on a tear to win the national championship. So, yeah, I would say those two are the big ones. I'm also pretty excited about the Battle of the Beach thing. I mean, I think that's going to be a big deal going forward. We're going to see how it all works out, but I'm
To the
hoping.
racers, I think you're about the only one. I mean, I think there's like 5 of these late model guys that are actually going to go. So I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure how that Battle of the Beach at Daytona deal is going to go. Really, to be honest with you, a lot of drivers. NASCAR's done a poor job, and you know, I don't usually say that, but NASCAR's done a poor job of explaining to everyone that it's not just the 10 drivers that got locked in that are able to go. You're eligible to go if you have a late model stock car. You can go and try to qualify in.
Wow, are you serious?
You know, so everybody thinks that it's just you know, it's an invitation only,
Right,
and nobody knows who can go. I mean, I get guys. I bet you had 5 people this weekend at Myrtle Beach go, "Hey man, how do you get qualified for that race? Who do I need to call?" You don't need to call anybody. You just
show
take
up.
your car down there.
Wow.
So
Pay
I
your
don't know.
entry
They did a
fee.
poor job with that, and you know, I don't know. I don't know how to help that situation.
Hey,
you know
what
I
do
mean?
what do you guys think, Langley? Before we let you go, buddy, what do you guys think of Brian France at NASCAR making the big announcement that yes, it's official, the trucks will race on dirt at Eldora next year, and they're also going to be at Greenville Pickens Speedway, and in 2014 looking to go back to places like Myrtle Beach Speedway for a NASCAR truck race. What do you think of that?
I mean, I think the Greenville Pickens deal is pretty cool. I mean, I'm not, you know, nothing bad against Greenville Pickens, but they've done a really good job of taking themselves off the short track map in recent years. And, you know, maybe this will help. Maybe this will help bring in people, you know, late model guys who will go down there and, you know, use the late model races as a test for, you know, running the trucks or the East Series or, you know, whatever else. And, you know, the whole Eldora deal, I know all you dirt people are just so freaking excited you can't stand yourself. But at the end of the day,
Yeah, baby,
you know,
trucks on Eldora.
those stupid ARCA dirt races, that's the biggest waste of time that's ever happened in this world. They should not have that stupidity ever in this world. I think it'd be cool, you know, volunteer speedways talked about having a late model race and you know, all that other
See,
crap.
now
And I
you're
think that's
two-faced.
cool and all.
You're two-faced, Langley. 'Cause
Well,
you
but
said
there's a
it-
difference.
What I'm saying is, no, you're not letting me finish. What I'm saying is, I think it's cool and all, but who gives a crap? It's going to be a terrible race. I mean,
Why?
it's going to be awful.
Dude,
And
it'd be
you know,
more
the trucks
exciting on
at
dirt.
Eldora is going to be the same way.
It will be more exciting on dirt than it will be on asphalt, okay? Asphalt's getting to the
Yeah.
racetrack. Dirt's
We'll
for you
see.
to run on.
We'll see. Again, this is one of these deals where I'm open, waiting to see what's going to happen. A lot of it's going to depend on how they prep the track, which is part of the reason DuQuoin and Springfield do suck, because they don't water the track and it's basically glorified asphalt, and their racing just isn't that good. But if they prep the track properly to where they can race high and low, then it's going to be an awesome show. If they
What'd you
don't
say,
prep
Langley?
it to where they're locked in up at the top, it's going to suck.
Really want a dirt race. They just want the dirt crowd to say, we're going to go to a truck race. And the dirt crowd, you know what they're thinking? They're thinking, you know, these are a bunch of idiots. That's what they're thinking. They're thinking, you know, they prepare that track exactly like they do those other races, which they're going to. You know, like they prepare for the ARCA races. It's going to be awful. I mean, the race is going to suck. It's going to be like any other crappy freaking asphalt track. And it's just going to suck, and I hate it. If they prepare it like a real dirt track, I say we don't even put them in trucks. We call up Scott Bloomquist, and we get 42 cars or 36 or whatever we need, and we put them all in dirt late models to see who's got what.
I agree with you on that.
I mean, dirt racing. Let me tell you something. I know you think I was attacking dirt racing, but it's not that way in any way, shape, or form. Dirt racing is awesome. It's incredible. It is exciting, no doubt about it.
It's more better than NASCAR
Asphalt
these
cars.
days.
Asphalt cars on a crappy prepared, you know, asphalt-like dirt track is a waste of time.
Oh wow.
I'm with you. I am with you.
I mean, I'm tired of hearing everybody they're going to have a dirt race. No, they're not. They're going to have an asphalt race, dirt track. That's what they're going to do.
We'll see.
Well, let me clarify that.
Is
It's going to be the
so-
NASCAR Camping World Truck Series racing on Eldora Speedway.
That's fantastic. But that ain't going to do anything. I'm telling you, man. They're going to prepare that place just like it is an asphalt track. The track will be so dry and so just worthless. You might as well not even have it. They might as well go down the street and have it in the Walmart parking lot. That'd be much more exciting. I think that, we have it in the Walmart parking lot, and they have to dodge all the grandmas in their little carts, okay? That's what I think would be.
Have people randomly pushing carts out in the way.
Yeah, and I think you give extra points for hitting them. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Wow.
Death race.
50
Not the
points.
new one, but the old one.
That is
Give
so.
extra points for each person you hit.
That is so wrong, Langley.
Hey, let me tell you something. All these people that just voted for Barack Obama, I say we put them all out there. Okay?
Oh yeah, I
Oh,
Every
agree.
one of them out there in the parking lot.
Hell yeah. Okay, I agree with that.
Oh boy.
Front of the cars, just be fantastic.
Wow. Langley tells it like it is, don't he, Mike Neff?
Langley has never sugarcoated a thing in his life. And
Never.
that's why we
Well,
love him.
unfortunately, tonight I decided that I really just didn't give a crap. I usually don't really give a crap anyways, but I really don't give a crap tonight. So, y'all got the real deal tonight. If it comes to my mind, I'm unfortunately saying it before I can think not to.
Absolutely.
And
Wow.
we love that.
Race22.com, the Short Track Authority. Go to that website, www.race22.com. And Langley, I'm pretty certain you're writing up a story right now about the whole deal at Myrtle Beach, huh?
I've been working on it a little bit. I've been kind of busy trying to catch up with the business side of Race 22. But yeah, I mean, we're working on some stories. We actually got a reaction story. Some of the drivers' quotes from Facebook and Twitter that'll go up in the next hour or so, and those are pretty good. Those are kind of exciting because obviously, the drivers were pretty daggone fired up.
Oh, they're pissed off about it. I'd be pissed. Here's my thing. Why couldn't they have just ran today? I mean,
Because nobody would
I
be
don't
there.
know. I don't know, Wesley, but keep harping on that because I'm sure they're going to change it and we're going to go back in time and have it today.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody
Mike.
would
I mean-
be there.
What'd you say,
I mean,
Mike?
why run a race if nobody's going to be in the stands? I know they aren't going to have a lot of people anyway, but they could at least have
Nobody's going to be
some.
in the stands anyways.
Nobody's going to be there anyway, man. Look at the past. I mean, and that's the thing. That's what Langley's hitting about, and I'm talking about it as well. For many years, the Myrtle Beach 400 has not had butts in the seats. There's more fans and people in the pits than there are in the grandstands, Mike. And I mean, these guys travel from all over the country to run in this deal. The purse has been cut numerous times, year after year. Now it's only paying $10,000 to win. And then to top it off, I just don't see why they couldn't have lined them up and ran today. Or even ran Saturday night like Langley said. If they knew that weather was coming Saturday or coming in for Sunday, why couldn't they have ran the race Saturday night and got it over
I
with?
completely agree with that. I mean, and the other problem with running today is you got some guys that work for a living. I know y'all don't, but some people do.
Stock car racing works for a living.
There's some people in stock car racing that work for a living. Not a
Who
lot.
in late model stock car racing actually works for a living? I mean, I think there's like 3 of them.
Well,
I
yeah.
mean, the rest of them.
So you're
going to
keep those 3 guys from being there? That's not
Excuse
fair.
me, or they're on welfare. One or the other. Okay?
Either they're rich or they're on welfare.
One or the other. I mean, I'm.
Hitting below the belt, Langley.
You can call me on my Obama phone, and I'll give you another interview. I'll be nicer.
On your free cell phone, government
Hey,
provided.
I will have all my free stuff, so I will be much nicer.
Mike, he said he's going to call him the Obama phone. That is
Why
so
not?
wrong, Langley.
Why not?
That is so wrong, dude.
Much
It's
nicer
so
than
right.
this.
It's true.
It's
It's
very
100%
accurate.
true. That's
Very
why I say it.
Go ahead,
You know
Mike.
it's bad. You know it's really, really, really bad. I really don't care about Obama in one way or the other. I really don't care if he's president. I really don't care who's president. I really just could care less. But I really do think that I should sign up for food stamps. I'm all about food, so I really think I should get some food stamps.
There you go.
Go ahead,
I mean,
Mike.
have y'all seen me? I am all about food.
Yeah, I have seen you, and yes, you do appreciate some food. Hey, before you take off, any word on what Frank Denny is doing next year? I know he's out at Kiker. Is he going to be running his own gig again?
Out here.
Go ahead, Mike.
There you are. I know Frankie's out at Kiker. Is he going to be running his own cars next year, or has he got another gig in the works?
I really don't know for sure, but he'll be in the K&N Pro Series, East deal, pretty much full time I think next year. Him and maybe another client, and he's kind of moving his deal from late model stocks to the East Series. I guess just he's going to keep his late model rental program, driver development deal. Going kind of, he's going to, add another level to his whole driver development deal, and the deal with him and Kiker, they weren't having the success that they thought they should, and I think that Kiker may have got where he thought maybe it's Frank, maybe it's him, maybe we've got everything else we need, and maybe it's him, but I think they were 45th fastest in practice most of the weekend at Myrtle Beach with Brandon Dean in the car. Brandon is an exceptional driver, so I think there's something missing from the program. I don't know whether it's the cars, shock program. I mean, I don't know what they're on, so I don't know what the deal is, and I just don't know what's going on, but something's not right with that team.
Langley, were you disappointed with the car count at Myrtle Beach?
No, I mean, it was pretty close to what it was last year, and, everybody kind of gets caught up on this car count thing. I'm tired of hearing about car count. If I go to a 25,000 win late model race next week and 10 cars show up, that's fantastic. I could care less. As long as there are 10 really good cars and the 10 of them try to kill each other, I'm just excited, okay? As long as it's a good race, I really don't care. Car count don't mean anything. This car count thing that everybody's got in their head, I would just like to smack everybody that talks about car count. I'm going to start with you, Wesley, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, because Wesley's big on car
I'll
count.
slap you, okay?
Wesley is big on car count. And I'm with you, Langley. As long as the best races you ever see have 4 and 5 cars in them, but they're 4 and 5 cars that are
now
all
this
equal.
is what makes me mad. Mike is two-faced. Because he told me the same thing, that he wants to see a lot of cars at a racetrack also, and then he's going to turn around and kiss your ass, Langley, because you're on the show.
I like seeing a lot of cars at the track if they're competitive. Yeah, that's me, Captain Two-Faced. I never tell you the real truth because I'm all worried about being popular. But, but no, that's part of the problem with freaking nationwide racing and cup racing.
I know how to explain to people. People say, well, they used to get 100 cars. Well, they also didn't used to have 50 limiteds there either, okay? They had 8.
Yeah.
So now we have 50-some limiteds and 50-some late models. So do we not still just have 100 cars? They're just in 2 or 3 divisions?
Yeah. How did the limited guys feel about the whole rain-out deal procedure? They were kind of already pissed off. They were like, why do I have to be there and run Friday night and then turn around and run Sunday? Why couldn't we have ran the same day?
Well, I mean, the Friday night deal, that was a whole other division.
Yeah, but
I know what you're saying. But at the same time, I mean, I think they were probably just as upset about the way, things were handled as the rest of the drivers. But at the same time, they all got weather. At the end of the day, nobody hid weather from them, okay?
Mike Neff, Langley needs to become the meteorologist. Mike Neff, Langley needs to become the short track meteorologist for NASCAR. What do you think?
Yeah, he and Larry Mack can hang out together and tell everybody to look outside and look at the rain.
That's my favorite person at the racetrack. No, he's a good dude, really, but no, it's not even about, it's just nothing about the weather. I mean, they all knew it was coming anyways. I mean, at some point.
Do you think it might have been a scheme for Myrtle Beach to put money in their pocket? They knew it was going to get rained out. Do you think that it was just a scheme for them to put money in their pocket? Because a lot of people have always said, Langley, that Myrtle Beach 400 is their biggest race of the year. I mean,
well, let me tell you this. At the end of the day, I told you earlier, they're business people, and if that was their strategy, then it was a fantastic one, and it worked. So at the end of the day, they did a good job.
yeah, but eventually they got to pay that money back out.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean,
Unless they say the track's gone out of business.
They're going to get to sell more tires. A lot of people are going to lose their wristbands. They're going to sell more pit passes. They're going to sell more grandstand tickets. They're going to sell more food. They're going to sell more drinks. And
Well, how are they going to sell that if nobody's there?
They did a
Y'all just got done telling me nobody
I hate that they had to reschedule it for March, but it just is what it is. And back to what I was saying about the drivers a minute ago. It's not just drivers. We as a society have this thing where we want to blame everybody else for our own stupidity.
Right.
And at the end of the day, all of us need to just figure out that we're stupid, and we need to just admit it, and we'll be a whole lot better off.
Go ahead, Mike.
I'm stupid. I know it.
Else. I mean, it's at some point in your life, it's at some point in everybody's life, they figure out that not everybody else is to blame for everything that happens in their life. Some people grow up and they kill people and they blame their parents. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life, okay? And some people go to racetracks and they buy tires when they don't have to and they blame the promoter. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of, too.
Go ahead, Mike. I know you're trying to talk.
Nah, I'm good. I was just saying I'm stupid. I admit I'm stupid. But I'm with you. That's do something you don't have to do, then you can't blame somebody else. And if you do something and it's somebody else's fault and you got to blame somebody else, then you're part of the 47% that apparently got the president elected.
Exactly. Whoa. We're not going to go into politics. We're not going to get into politics, but I wish that Romney would have won.
Not at all. Not at all. But at the end of the day, I could sit here and say, man, Myrtle Beach is so stupid. And, they're spend all this money to try to cover this race, and it got rained out. Wait, hold on a minute. I saw the weather 2 weeks ago. I can't blame them no more. Sorry.
Langley, we got to run, dude. You're awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you for having me on.
Before we let you go,
I hope this gets me an invite back again another day.
Oh, absolutely. Dude, we've offered you since. Wait a minute now. We've offered to you since February to be on the show, and you finally step up to the plate after the Myrtle Beach 400. Okay.
But see, the thing about it is, I had to find somebody to blame, so it's y'all's fault, okay?
Oh, okay.
It's y'all's fault that I haven't been on this show, not mine. See, I might have turned you down or not been, where I needed to be at the right time, but it's your fault. At the end of the day, it's your fault because it has to be somebody else's fault.
Oh, my God. Langley Austin, he's awesome. Race22.com, the Short Track Authority. Mike, you got anything for Langley before we get him off the air?
Nah, brother.
Because if we don't, he's going to take over the show.
We'll get ready for next year. Race 22 is going to be covering all the races that matter and none of the races that don't, which means they won't be covering any pass races. I can promise you that.
Wow, we're going to talk pass.
I just wish you'd asked me about that earlier.
Hey, before we do, what is your thoughts of that?
Oh, man. At the end of the day, I told you earlier, at the end of the day, Tom Mayberry's a businessman. And if he thinks that making sure that his series and his drivers have no exposure and no additional fans can ever find out anything about them, and if he thinks that that's a good business decision, then that's what he should do.
Okay, that was the stupidest answer you've ever given me.
That's what he does. It was that simple.
Honestly, obviously we all have some common sense, and we know that that's the wrong answer.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if he thinks that it is, he runs that business, and at the end of the day, he's got to be the man to make that decision.
We're going to talk that with Alan Dietz next. Alan Dietz of the Pro All-Star Series is going to talk about the Mason-Dixon meltdown this weekend at Concord, and we're also might try to dab into that as well. So, Langley, thank you, buddy. Race22.com, the Short Track Authority. Appreciate you being on.
All right, guys. We'll see you.
That is Langley Austin, the man that's not afraid to speak his mind, Mike.
Never is. Always tells you how he feels, which is part of the fun of being around. I have to bail out for a little bit, brother. So.
Oh, please do not leave. Just let's. I'm going to call Alan right now, and
I have to return a call within 30 minutes, and it's been 20. So
okay.
I have to bail,
go
but
ahead
I
and
will be
step
back
away
as soon
then.
as I can.
Go ahead and step away.
Quick.
Absolutely. Go ahead. So Mike is going to have to leave us
back.
now. I'll jump on. I'll talk to Alan about this whole deal. Hey, we're going to go to commercial break. When we come back, you know what? Matter of fact, I would just say let's bring Langley back into this whole deal. I'll let Langley want to co-host the show with me. Let's see if he wants to do the show with me. And Langley will say how it is. Alan Dietz coming up after the break. We'll be right back right after these words. But anyhow, we were talking about the whole Ronnie Bassett deal and what happened at that deal. Race22.com did a great job covering this. Just take a listen to some of the behind-the-scenes audio that Race22 was able to get with this whole Bassett controversy at Martinsville.
Hand signal right there. They do not want to talk, and NASCAR is calling in Ronnie Bassett Jr., but he's not coming. They say this is not going to be the only event this will affect.
So we can only go off of what you say. When we asked, where do we line up? Spotter asked and we asked. He radioed back, you're on the lead lap, we lined up lead lap. They dropped the rag about 10
I understand what you're saying. When the tower said give something back, obviously the tower was not happy with what was done. He kept asking, he didn't respond. He asked him to come in, he hasn't. He's out there not being scored. And I'm telling you now, it is not going to be good. He needs to come in, I'm telling you.
It's your all's fault, though. How is it our fault?
It does not matter.
It does matter. It has to all start.
And I'm telling you, before y'all leave here tonight, the driver, crew chief, and spotter need to be in that hauler if you ever want to race NASCAR again.
Good luck with that.
So, I mean, you can just blatantly tell that there was just total disrespect. I mean, NASCAR officials telling him you need to get in the, you need to go back and then give a position back. Then finally they convinced him to bring his car on the pit road. But I just wanted to kind of play a little bit of that audio sample because they did a outstanding job. And Langley and Kimberly and everybody at Race 22 always do. They always do a great job. Here's
Momentarily.
Yeah, here's him trying to get an interview with Ronnie Bassett. Listen to this.
Crew chief and spotter inside the hauler. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm telling you that right. Well, tell the driver. And he can make that simple. Driver, crew chief, and spotter. Please be home. Then I leave this racetrack. We expect anything to come up.
And it's like what Langley said, and I'll say this closing before we go to commercial break and get Alan Dietz on the program. He put it on himself. I mean, like what Langley just mentioned when we had him on the program, when you're told to do something, look, NASCAR's the law for short track racing. And when NASCAR says, look, you're going to do it this way, and if you don't do this, then you're done. You're going to be in trouble, and pretty much that's what happened with that whole deal. Ronnie Bassett being indefinitely suspended by NASCAR, but Langley saying all he's got to do is renew his license and pay a little bit of money and a little fine. He'll probably be able to be back again. Langley saying he's hinting that he's going to be back, but he won't give us the information on the source of who told him that, so it is what it is. But anyhow, we're going to take a quick break. We've got Alan Dietz of the Pro Series. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back right after this. And the winner is Sports Show, the Auto Sports Entertainment Network.
The fever. Intense. NASCAR racing experience. The authentic racing experience. Packages start at just $329. Thrilling. Yeah! The rush. The NASCAR NASCAR racing experience. Call 1-877-RACE-LAP today.
ETV Live, always pushing the bar just a little bit further, is proud to introduce ETV Live Radio, supported by the HD Radio Network. ETV Live Radio features classic rock every hour, every day. You can also catch live events such as Race Day broadcast right from the booth, Open Paddock Live at 9:30 p.m. Tuesday nights, The Pit Report on Friday nights at 7 p.m. ETV Live Radio featured in the sports section of iTunes. Get the mobile app from TuneIn.com and look for us on Windows Media Guide. ETV Live Radio on the HD Radio Network.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the November 19th edition of And the Winner Is Motorsports Show, a broadcast of the ETV Live online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. As always, I am Wesley Outland, the ringmaster of motorsports. Mike Neff has stepped away for just a couple of minutes. He will be right back, and we are going to go to the phone lines. And we're going to get on our next guest, the man of the Pro All-Star Series, the media PR announcer of the Pro All-Star Series, Pass South, Pass North, getting ready for their big event of the year, the final race of the 2012 racing season. Of course, it is the Mason-Dixon Meltdown. We'll have him on the program here next. Trying to give Alan a ring here. We'll talk to him about this big event for the Pro All-Star Series, the Mason-Dixon Meltdown. Going to be a big racing event at the Concord Motorsports Park in Concord, North Carolina. A short drive for Alan on Thanksgiving weekend, just about 10 miles from his house. So you don't have to drive very far. And it's the big daddy everyone's been waiting for, Alan, the Mason-Dixon Meltdown this weekend. Talk about it.
Oh, yeah. There's going to be a lot going on out at Concord this weekend. You know, it's the last Pass race of the season. We'll crown the Pass National Champion and the Pass South Champion, and, you know, great points battles going on there. And then the new Pass Pro Late Model Division that we expect to be really big in 2013. It'll actually be their first race coming up this weekend at Concord.
Okay, Mike Neff was going to say something to you about it. He's had to step away, so I'm going to say it. And you know me, Alan, I'll be a lot more nicer about it than Mike will. About the press release that was put out Saturday in regards to Pass not wanting to have media coverage for their drivers or their race events or whatnot.
That's absolutely wrong. And Mike or anybody else that read it that way didn't read all the way through the press release. And that's about as blunt and honest as I can be about it.
Right.
What that press release was about was about not even social media. I mean, that's the way it was titled, but it was about live updates. And, you know, there are a lot of websites, Speed 51, Race 22, that started doing live updates. I don't know, about 4 or 5 years ago. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. I was working underneath the sink on something and not having a lot of success with it. But,
an announcer and now a plumber.
Not much anything other than trying to announce races. But anyway, they started doing live updates, I don't know, about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. And, you know, we've done some, you know, live races on racetalkradio.com.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, with Doc Love and other folks like that.
Race Fan Radio,
but,
stuff like that, yeah.
At the end of the day, that was about live updates. And, you know, just like anything else on a much, much smaller scale, but just like, you know, ESPN or Fox or whoever it is has got to get permission to televise races, just like, you know, Turner right now has exclusive rights to the NASCAR.com, and NASCAR will be taking that over in 2013.
Right.
It's not fair for a website to come in there. First off, they got to, you know, ask for permission. And, you know, if we choose to give somebody permission to do live updates, that's fine, but it's all right. But if you look on a lot of these websites that do live updates, first off, it's sponsored. The website is sponsored to do that live update. And also they're coming to an event where, we've got sponsors and we've worked out various deals with racetracks and stuff like that, and all of that involves money, and these websites come in there if they have permission to do live updates, and they're sponsored. So that's nothing that we as a series or those racetracks get any benefit from is whatever sponsorship there is. And if you'll look also on a lot of those websites, they put a disclaimer that they own all the rights to what they type up and what they print out. And I'm sorry, but Tom Mayberry owns the rights to anything that's got to do with pass.
Exactly.
And these racetracks that are putting these events on, it's not right for a website to sit there. They don't own anything. And so it was in regards to live updates, and mainly Motorsports TV up in Maine has covered the pass series very well for a number of years and gone through the proper channels and done it correctly, as has Late Model Digest, as has Late Model Racer, as has any number of local newspapers and other trade papers that have covered the series.
Exactly.
But, and there's some other things involved, too. That with the live updates, and that's something that other folks have tried to paint pass out to be the bad guys that we don't want to allow updates from our races and things of that nature, and we've kind of tried to steer that back towards our Facebook page, and we're also addressing that more towards 2013, doing things that'll work better for us as a series, work better for our tracks, our sponsors, and our drivers.
So it's not the fact that you are trying to not let live updates take place. It's just the fact that you need to go through the proper channels to be able to make it happen.
Well, I mean, we've chosen not to allow live updates, and but as far as us not wanting to allow media coverage, or I've seen stuff like that, and that we don't want to even allow, a race car driver's girlfriend or dad or brother or whoever to post updates to Facebook or Twitter. That, again, was in that press release. That is not what we're trying to do at all. That we never have tried to do that.
Right.
And we're going to continue not to do. And, as far as not letting other types of media in to cover our races, that's just absolutely wrong. And I saw some folks make some comments to that nature, and they couldn't be more wrong. And, again, if you look at Late Model Racer, you look at Late Model Digest, you look at any number of websites that cover our series, we, allow them to do that. We've just made a decision not to do live updates, and it's a business decision.
Absolutely, definitely. Well, I don't want to continue to be stuck on the subject with you. I know you having a right to your opinion, and I know also that you work for the, with you work with Tom as the announcer PR for the Pro All-Star Series. And I appreciate you at least talking about this subject because.
Oh, no, and again, these are things that we're actively looking at other ways to get the series more exposure. Through TV. We brought our radio show back on racetalkradio.com.
Yeah.
And through live updates and through social media for 2013. But we're wanting to do things that benefit the series, which benefit our racers, our fans, and definitely our fans. Our fans and our racers are number one. That's what's most important to us. We just want it done the proper way, and we think we've got some good stuff coming up in 2013 that'll benefit everybody.
Absolutely. Alan Dietz of the Pro All-Star Series is on the show, and again, if Mike Neff is back. I just realized Mike has returned.
Ta-da!
Mike, what's your? Go ahead. I'll let you say what you want to say to Alan about this subject before we talk about the Mason-Dixon meltdown, because I know you want to talk to him.
Well, I mean, I don't know what Alan has said so far, so I feel bad just walking in the middle and firing stuff at him. But I I guess my point on this deal that I'm trying to understand.
We've already discussed subject a little bit, so it's okay for you to say something, Mike. Go ahead.
I'm trying to understand how this stance or this policy can benefit the series when you've got people that are too far away to come to the race or not of a means to come to the race but want to follow your series, and they can't get, I don't want to throw it under a bus, but worthwhile updates or timely updates about what's going on in the races.
I think some people are a little bit spoiled whenever, this deal with these live updates was not even around 4 or 5 years ago. And
exactly.
If
I agree.
Can't make it to an event, that they can't wait less than 12 hours before the results are posted, and before a day before the information is posted, just like they did for a number of years. And as I said, Mike, a little bit earlier, which you might not have heard, but as opposed to what some of these websites do, that they put disclaimers on these websites that say that they own the rights to all of the statements and the coverage that they put on these websites. And as I said, they don't own anything whenever they go to a racetrack that passes leased or that a racetrack that is purchased a pass event. And again, a lot of this came up because a website that was refused the right to do updates went and did it a different way, trying to do it behind their back.
Uh-huh.
And as I also said, our fans and our racers and our sponsors are number one to us. And these websites are profiting off of the work and the effort that PASS and that these racetracks are putting forth. They're profiting because their coverage is sponsored. They're making money off of that coverage.
But what about people that are just tweeting out updates that aren't sponsored?
Go ahead, Mike.
Yes,
Go ahead, Mike.
Sir.
I mean, if you're sending out tweets and giving live updates to the race, but you're not sponsored and you're doing it just because you want to let people know what's going on, I don't.
Again, Mike, if you read that press release, and again, you missed everything that me and Wesley were talking about a little bit earlier, and you kind of want to go on the attack about this, but as I said a little bit earlier, and as is included in that press release, if a driver's girlfriend, a race fan, a spotter, a father, a brother, whoever wants to post, something to Facebook or to Twitter, we have no problem with that. And people have done that, and they've had to, they've not gotten any grief from us for doing that.
Right. So it's basically pertaining to the media outlets that are doing advertising of these races, but they're not doing anything to help PASS in the process. It's just about them putting money in their pocket.
No, and anybody that would like to do live updates and would like to purchase those rights from PASS has that ability. And if they reach out to me or they want to talk to anybody, if they're that passionate about wanting to do the live updates, that's fine. But, as I also said earlier, whether it's TV, whether it's radio, whether it's live updates, these are all things that we're looking into for 2013 at doing ourselves and doing through our websites and doing through other means that, we're going to take care of our fans and our sponsors and our drivers as we always have, and do it the right way and do it to make sure that everybody's protected and that everything's getting out there the way that it should.
Mike?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to go on the offensive on this deal. I'm not trying to attack you. I'm trying to look at it from a perspective of covering other racing series. And I cover NASCAR, I cover Lucas Oil, World of Outlaws, whatever, and have never had another racing series besides PASS. And mind you, when I was at Nashville, I was not told not to do it. And I stood in the infield next to Tom Mayberry for about 20 minutes tweeting out updates, and he never said a word to me. So I didn't know that there was a problem until after the race when I came upstairs and heard from everybody else that they had a problem. But that being said, I'm looking at it from a perspective of when I go to cover a race, I don't make any money at front stretch, okay? I get a little check at the end of the year for like $50. And that doesn't even cover my gas getting to one race, let alone all the races I go to in a year. I do it because I love the sport. I love watching racing, and I love letting other people know what's going on at races that they cannot attend. And yes, I understand that 5 years ago, before we had live updates, people had to wait. But you don't have to wait anymore, and this is about evolving with the technology that's there. And you talk about waiting a day. I was doing this show by myself the Monday night after the North-South shootout, and I could not find results from the past portion of that race because they were not on the Caraway site, they were not on the Pro All-Star site. So I didn't have any way to let the fans know who had won that race because nobody had put anything out about it. And that's where I'm coming from.
I'm pretty sure it was on our Facebook page and on the Pro All-Star Series site.
I mean, it may have been on the Facebook page because I will admit I did not go to the Facebook page, but I looked on the Pro All-Star Series site and there was nothing there as of 7 o'clock or before on Monday night. But, I mean, that said, I'm just trying to say that, and I completely understand if people are making money off of doing this, that yes, there should be something in the way of purchasing rights or whatever. But if somebody is at the track in a media capacity trying to cover the race and trying to let fans know what is going on at a race that fans cannot attend, I don't understand how that is a negative impact for a sport. I mean, you all are going to expand into the Northwest next year and have races at Wenatchee Speedway. I'm never going to Wenatchee Speedway next year. I may sometime down the road, but not next year. I would love to know live what's going on at Wenatchee and not have to wait till Monday to find out.
Yeah, but then, of course, just like Alan Dietz said, though, Mike, in Alan's defense, I mean, they've got their past radio show with Dennis Michelson on Race Talk Radio back again. They have done live race broadcasts with in the past with Race Talk Radio. I think
we're looking, just to wrap everything up and to put a bow on it, as I said.
Yeah.
Looking forward to 2013, we're going to take care of things ourselves, whether it's through radio, whether it's through television, whether it's through our websites or whatever, to where everybody will get what they need and they'll be happy and there won't be any problems. And as I said, we'll take care of it ourselves. And I think everybody will be satisfied with what we're working on.
And I hope so. I mean, I would, nothing would make me happier to make sure people are finding out what they want to know and being given the opportunity. But it just, I don't know, from a media standpoint.
Once again, Alan Dietz, this reminds me so much of what my boss Stan Lester at Fast Track told me about writing press releases. The attention span of somebody's is between 10 to 12 seconds. And if you do not go to the point in that 10 to 12 seconds of what you're trying to talk about, you've lost your entire listenership, or they twist stuff around. And it seems to me like it was a very lengthy press release. I've read it just a couple of minutes ago. But it also made people think things differently about pass. And I think it just boils down to, in closing of this subject, and we'll talk about the Mason-Dixon meltdown, that you want to have updates. You don't mind if girlfriends, wives, or boyfriends, or whatever, if there's a lady driver, their boyfriend, or a girlfriend of a driver, or a husband, wife, crew member, racing PR management, whatever, want to post what's going on at the racetrack. But it's the media.
Somebody putting that, somebody who's got the pole, if they want to post a picture.
Right.
We just talked, about lap by lap, minute by minute updates with websites that were sponsored, and as I said, other than one instance, we never have had a problem with somebody doing it that was refused the right to do it and that didn't know to do it. That was just one instance, which again kind of snowballed the situation and made it worse. But we don't have any problems like that at all, and we encourage any media that wants to come cover our events. We absolutely encourage it, as we always have, and we want people to be as informed as they can be. But as I said, this is evolving. This is these are changing times, and we're having to look at things, and we want to make sure that we give our fans what they need But again, we want to make sure that it's that it's beneficial to everybody that's involved, and that's what we're trying to do, and looking forward to next year, and continuing to have this thing grow the way it has every year since it started back in 2001.
Okay, John Westling, ring the bell. This subject is over. We're done with this topic. Now let's talk about the big Mason-Dixon Meltdown. This is a race that's grown to magnitudes. It's been in different locations of the world. It's been at South Boston. It's been to Concord. It's been was it Caraway?
Newport once.
Newport, yeah. It's been all over, but it seems like it's had its most popular status being at Concord Motorsports Park.
Yeah, the South Boston years were good, and the Concord years, we've done pretty good. But I think no matter, where you take this race, it's the racers that show up, it's the racers that put on the show, and it's these points races, coming down to the wire, where this Mason-Dixon Meltdown the last couple of years, has kind of made its name. And, like the North-South shootout, it attracts drivers from the North to compete against drivers from the South, and there's always that little rivalry going on. But, last year, going into this race, Jay Fogelman had a 10-point lead for the Pass South Championship, and he qualified. He was the fast qualifier, and everything looked to be headed in a good direction for him in this championship with Ryan Blaney. But again, you're looking at 2 points per position, so that's only 5 positions. 10 points are separating you. He had a flat tire right at the beginning of the race last year, lost a couple of laps, couldn't ever get the lucky dog. Ryan Blaney finished second, and he was the Pass South champion. This year, you got 2 good points races coming into the Mason-Dixon. The Pass National Point race saw really a Ben Rowe had a 15-point lead over Jay Fogelman. Ben Rowe has a problem, finishes 16th. Jay Fogelman wins the race, 30-point swing, and now Jay Fogelman's got a 15-point advantage over Ben Rowe. Fairly comfortable, but again, you're only looking at 7 or 8 positions that Ben Rowe can finish ahead of Jay Fogelman, and he could recant his past national deal. The Pass South is even better, if you will, because 16 points separate the top 4 drivers. Kyle Grissom is the points leader. He's only got 4 points on Jay Fogelman. He's only got 6 points on Preston Peltier. And then you got Brandon Ward back there, 4th in points, just 16 points behind. So, between the 2 of them, Fogelman cannot afford to go out there and do anything but run as hard as he can. He can't go out there trying to protect the past national points lead, because I think for him that national points lead is a big deal, but I think the Pass South points is just as big, maybe a little bit bigger for Jay Fogelman. So he's got to finish a couple of spots ahead of Kyle Grissom. If the points end up tied, none of these guys are going to be able to equal Kyle Grissom's win total. So he's got 5 wins. Peltier, Fogelman, and Ward all have 2 wins. No matter what happens, even if they were one of those guys were to win the race and the points finish tied, then they're only going to have 3 wins to his 5. So these guys are going to have to go out there and outpoint them. But I think they're going to have to go out there and race as hard as they can, all of them, because none of them can afford to give up anything to those guys in front of them. And Kyle Grissom, he's lost a lot of points in these last few races. Lost a little bit of points at Hickory, but lost a bigger chunk at Nashville, and then lost even more at Caraway. So he's got to turn it around, but Concord's a place he can do it because they won there back in May.
Absolutely, and I've just been informed, Kyle, Kevin O'Brien, winner of the $8,000 race, has going to have to not be able to do the interview tonight, and Mike Marlar is at dinner right now. And we had Mike Marlar, the Winfield Warrior, on the show last Thursday to talk about the whole tire deal. And, of course, they're not going to be able to be on the program, so we're going to finish up with Alan Dietz till the top of the hour. But, Mike, in closing about that deal, what a great thing for Mike Marlar out of Winfield, Tennessee in the 5B, Masterbuilt, or Rocket, to come out of the woodwork after the controversy with the tires and everything at the National 100 and just dominate by winning both races he competed in.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool indeed. And, I mean, it's one of them deals that you get out there on a level playing field, anything can happen, and that's the beauty of dirt racing is one day you can be a GOAT, the next day you can be a hero.
Absolutely. So, again, Mike Marlar, the Winfield Warrior, winner of the 10,000 to win 21st annual Blue-Gray 100, or 22nd annual Blue-Gray 100 at Cherokee last night. And then, of course, the winner of the Ultimate Super Late Model Series, Georgia State Outlaw Championship, winning that 5,000 win show. Not going to be on the program. And, of course, Kevin O'Brien winning the $8,000 front-wheel drive U-Car race, and he dominated $8,000. He put it in his pocket, the driver from South Carolina. We're going to have to reschedule with him for another time as well.
That's very cool, though.
Alan,
can I ask Alan a question?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I know y'all are in the process of slowly building next year's schedule. You've already got several races out. I think it's cool that you're going to be running those Canadian races. Have you had discussions with Concord, and is there anything in the works to go back to Concord in 2013?
Concord's going under, ain't it, Alan?
Yep.
I said Concord's going under is what I've been told.
You know, it's kind of a double-edged deal with Concord. First off, Mike, our schedule, we plan on getting our schedules out in the next day or two. And we'll have the north schedule out and the south schedule out, and I think the national races will be announced too. I'm not sure about that, but I know that the north and the south races will be announced. So just stay tuned to that.
Right.
You know, and Wesley, the reason I say the deal with Concord is a double-edged sword is because they have struggled a lot at the half mile, and you know, I encourage folks to come out this weekend. You know, after Thanksgiving for the Thanksgiving Classic Mason-Dixon Meltdown, 200 green flag laps. You're going to get to see the national champion and the Pass South champion crown and the 75 lapper for the brand new Pass Pro Late Model divisions. Come on out and support Concord because it does need it. The half mile has struggled, but, you know, they made that decision at Concord to cut back, only allow touring division, special events, commercials, and testing at the half mile. And I know Jennifer Campbell and the folks out there at Concord really well. And I think she made the absolute right decision. And I told her that I thought that she did. They were not getting the support from the racers and the fans that they needed to keep that place going. But here's the reason it's a double-edged sword. Quarter mile has been doing great. They have just got great turnouts of Legends cars, Bandoleros, and the Davis SRL cars, the arena cars. They're looking at running maybe some street stock and mini stock, some stock car divisions on that quarter mile, getting really good fan turnouts, and they've decided to put their emphasis there. You know, they're going to have 45 events at least at the quarter mile next year, and that place is doing good. But from an economic standpoint, they had to make the decision: do we keep, you know, losing money over at the half mile where they, you know, increased the payout and did some things to try and bring racers back, and it just didn't work. You know, put our emphasis on the quarter mile. They've decided to do that, and I think they've made the right decision.
On a quarter mile track, though, Alan, I mean, do they really feel they're going to have a lot of success on a small bull ring?
Well, now I'm not talking about with you know, super late models and late model starts and stuff like that, but with what they're doing with the Bandoleros and the Legends cars and the Davis SRL cars, and then maybe allowing some, you know, mini stock type division in there, street stock division every now and again, I think they're absolutely making the right decision. I got to announce some races out there last fall, and they're getting the fan support, they're getting the car count in those divisions, and again, with the way things are right now, you just got to go with what works.
Yeah, but Alan, I think you have to agree with me. You're going to see more butts in the seats to see a super late model race than you would to go see Legends or Bandoleros. I mean, that's just like the summer shootout at Charlotte. They have struggled with attendance this year that they're even considering possibly either cutting back the dates for the summer shootout series or putting them in another part of the schedule because they feel like maybe it's too damn hot to be doing the racing on Tuesday night in the middle of the summer.
Well, you would hope so, but I know for their local races on the half mile, they were actually doing better crowd-wise at the quarter mile.
Wow.
And if that just gives you an idea of, what they were dealing with out at the half mile.
Wow, I can't believe that. Hey, guys, what do you think of the whole deal? And we're going to bring in Alan on this subject too, Mike Neff, because Alan works for, or he used to work with NASCAR Media Group. Now he's got his own production company. He does everything from voiceover to commercials to writing, PR. But Alan, one of the respected gentlemen of NASCAR Media Group, that was sadly one of the names that were in that whole ordeal. What was that, back in after Labor Day, Alan, when you got let go?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, actually, I mean, there were 35 or so of us that were let go, and 15 or 20 got let go that day, the second week in September, immediately. And me and several others, had the choice that we could stay till November 30th. So my official last day will be on Friday, at least as a full-time employee. But I'm hoping and looking forward to doing some freelance work with NASCAR next year and some other folks as well.
And another good friend of ours that we all know very well, Derek Pernasiglio. I call him Mr. Modifieds. He was also one of those people that were in that whole ordeal. But that just shows you how the economy is affecting everybody. But anyhow, Jimmy Johnson could not get it done. I love it. Brad Keselowski, the champion. But the only thing that I might find entirely unprofessional was that he came on national TV almost drunk as a skunk doing an interview last night. That was
one way you got to look at that deal. And I will say Brad Keselowski is a car owner in the past series, Landon Kling and with Nate Carruth, and his cars have done very well this year. Landon Kling was able to in at South Boston, but the thing about that is you can look at it and it's kind of funny and maybe it's kind of uncomfortable at times to watch, but you know what, the guy is himself, and we get so caught up in these corporate robots that don't say what they really mean and don't act like they want to. And,
right.
You know what happens with Jeff Gordon last week? Everybody gets in an uproar and gets mad about that. And
hey, I love that. It shows. Hey.
Well, yeah. And the same with Keselowski. You may like it or you may not like it, but you know what? The guy's being himself, and he just won the biggest championship there is in racing.
Yeah.
And all the pressure that you've got in this deal and in this season, if you want to unwind a little bit and drink a little bit of Miller Lite afterwards, it's kind of hard to argue with that.
Hey, at least he was drinking Miller Lite, not Budweiser, right, Alan? It was.
I don't think. Yeah, at least he didn't make that mistake.
Right, exactly. Go ahead, Mike. I know you're
I'm with you, Alan, completely. But everybody complains that these guys don't show enough emotion and don't show enough personality. And then he gets on TV and admits right off the bat that he's a little buzzed.
Yes,
and I thought for being a little buzzed, he took care of himself. But
and somebody said he got sick on the Sprint Cup trophy also.
He might have.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I haven't heard that one.
But whatever the case would be, I'll be the first to admit, I did not like him when he first started. And I have come around because he's genuine. I mean, he may be cocky, he may be a little on the arrogant side, but he is genuine. And I love the fact that he will tell it like it is, but he's thoughtful. When you ask him a question, you watch, he will think about his answer before he spits it out. He doesn't just let it fly. And he thinks about his answers.
And Alan.
And Dale Jr. is a lot like that, too.
Yep.
I mean, the guys really out their answer, and they're the kind of guys that whenever they do answer that question, you know that it's not just some willy-nilly thing that they've just thought of. I mean, they do put some thought behind their answers.
Hey, and at least Brad Keselowski had all the lug nuts on his car, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
At least that we know of.
Absolutely. And hey, by the way, I just really love it. I find it ironic that these two drivers that finished 1 and 2, which in my opinion, I thought the race sucked yesterday. I woke up to watch the race, and then I ended up falling asleep watching the race, okay? So, I mean, I should have just slept the whole time. But I just really wanted to see if Johnson had a legitimate shot to run down Keselowski. I really believe the whole time I thought he put himself in too much of a hole. But I love the fact that Gordon and Boyer finished 1 and 2, and they beat the hell out of each other, or they about beat the hell out of each other at Phoenix the week before. And in regards to that whole statement, because we didn't get to talk about that last week, Alan, I'm with you, man. I think it showed me that Jeff Gordon had a set on him and that he was tired of the BS, because numerous times throughout this year, Clint Boyer has picked on Jeff Gordon. And when you put a man in a corner, eventually he's going to come out and he's going to defend himself, and that's exactly what Jeff Gordon did.
Well, people can have whatever thoughts that they want to have about Jeff Gordon, but I've never had a doubt in my mind how tough the guy was. A guy who can go out there and race against Dale Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace and beat and bang against guys like that. I've never had any doubt about that. And you're right. I agree with you, Wesley. I think he had put up with a lot this year.
Yes.
Especially when you look at the two Martinsville races, and you can only take so much. And I read this week that he felt bad afterwards about what happened, especially because it took out the 43 and the 20, and both of those cars were having good races. But I can promise you, I don't think he has any problem with the fact that he took Clint Boyer out. I think he just got a problem that he took somebody else with him.
Absolutely, definitely. Alan Dietz, buddy, we got to go, man. We're coming up on the top of the hour. Actually, we're going above the hour. But real quickly, throw out all the information, and a big happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. How's that little boy doing? He getting big?
He's getting as big as a weed, and thank you, Wesley, and thank you too, Mike, and just all the coverage that you guys give us, and thanks, Mike, too, for the passion of wanting to cover the series, and I do appreciate it. And like I said, we put that press release out because some things were getting a little bit misconstrued, and we hope that folks understand a little bit better. And as I said, I think that you'll be pleased with some of the things that we're looking at doing next year. But practice on Friday for Past South Super Late models and the Past Pro Late models, I believe it goes from 1:30 to 4:30. And then on Saturday, we'll have qualifying at noon. We'll drop the green flag at 1:30 for the 75 lapper for the Past Pro Late models. And then at around 2:45, 200 laps in the Thanksgiving Classic Mason-Dixon Meltdown for the Past Super Late models. You can find out more at ProAllStarSeries.com. And again, don't forget to go to our Facebook page. Be sure to like Pro All-Star Series.
Hey, I know I'm going a little bit in overtime, John, but I promise we're about to get off the air. But I just got one more question for Alan. Alan, I know that this year you guys have butted heads with Southern National Motorsports Park with Michael Diaz and Charlie Hansen and well, Charlie ain't even there anymore. But Tim Brown and all the folks that I'm sorry, not Tim Brown. That's a driver, modifieds.
Yeah, drives at Bowman.
Yeah, Jerry Brown is what I meant. But they are actually going to run a 5,000 to win super late model race on Sunday, a part of the Thanksgiving Classic or the Thanksgiving All-Star Classic. Have they contacted you? Have they said, hey, can you put a hint in the people's ear at Concord that they need to come to Kenley and run for 5,000 to win on Sunday, or is it kind of a no comment on that part? Because I know that you guys have butted heads this year.
I would just say stay tuned to the 2013 schedule. You never know what you might find.
All right. Well, maybe with that being said, I think they're going to say they're using their heads and they're going to see pass at Kenley next year. But that's what I'm just
You never know what you might find.
Absolutely. ProAllStarSeries.com, and remember, tune in to Alan Dietz with Michael with Dennis Michelson on what is the show called now? Return to Pass or Live to Pass?
Inside Pass, 8:00 every Wednesday night.
Change the name every damn year. Live to Pass, Inside Pass is what it is now. Inside Pass. Alan, thank you, my friend, dude. Take care and good luck this weekend. And let's get the winner and yourself on next Monday night. Whoever wins the meltdown.
You know we'll do it. Just let me know. We'll be glad to do it.
Absolutely, Mike. Final thoughts for Alan?
Thank you very much, Alan. We appreciate you being on here. Appreciate you being candid with us, and hope to maybe be able to make my way over there to Concord on Saturday and check that race out. And if you get the chance, email me your schedule once you have it out, because I always want to make sure I include your races when I send out my weekly newsletter that goes out every Friday from Front Stretch.
If I don't have you on my list, what is that email real quick?
It is mneff@carolina.rr.com.
mneff@carolina.rr.com.
You got it.
I'll definitely put you on our list.
Absolutely.
Thank you, buddy.
And Alan, real quick, What is your thoughts of the new Myrtle Beach schedule? That looks pretty impressive to be running races on Wednesday and Thursday night this year, or for next season.
Well, it's thinking outside of the box, and they admittedly had their best car counts on Thursday nights.
And I announced them. Yes.
It'll be a great experiment, and I hope it works well for them. They're going to have a truck race there in 2014, and they're definitely doing the right things over there, and we're looking forward to having a pass race there on March 16th next year, and it'll be interesting. I hope it works for them.
And by the way, the March 15th and the 16th will be the pass race before the rescheduled Myrtle Beach 400 scheduled for March the 22nd. So, Alan, thank you, buddy. Take care, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving to you and yours, and good luck at the Meltdown this weekend at Concord.
Thanks, guys.
All right, that's Alan Dietz. And, Mike, we're about to get on out of here, buddy. Where are you going to this weekend?
Yeah, we're way late. Going to the relatives.
We're not way late. We're only 5 minutes into overtime.
Well, yeah, but the thing's supposed to shut off at exactly 8 o'clock. Going to Yvonne's relatives for Thanksgiving, and then be at Charlotte Motor Speedway on Friday doing a little shopping at the souvenir blowout. Hopefully get to drive my car around the track again. And then depending on...
You mean wreck your car around the track again?
No wrecking, just driving. And then depending on the financial situation, hopefully have enough dough to go over and afford a ticket to see the pass race at Concord on Saturday.
Absolutely. This weekend I will be at the Clary Speedway announcing and helping run the show there. Buddy has entrusted a lot of faith into me and knowing that I can get that program up and running. And not only am I going to be the guy on the microphone, but I'm also race directing, handling the drivers' meetings, things of that such. And we got a big, big race, the inaugural Clary's Thanksgiving Dirt Bash. 3,000 to win, dirt late models. I think around a lot of cars. We had a lot of cars this past weekend. By the way, that broadcast was on ETV. You can check it out in the archives. And I think John Wesleyan also put it on YouTube. And if everything goes well, we'll do it again this Saturday. And I can promise you, John, that if you do broadcast the race with us on Saturday, we are actually, I've even put my foot down to Buddy. We need to start earlier. We do not need to finish at 12:30 at night. So John says he won't be home.
There you go. All right, brother. We got to get on out of here.
So anyhow, Clary Speedway this weekend, and then of course I'm also going to Southern National for the Thanksgiving All-Star Classic. Mike Bushy has got in contact with me about announcing the Mini Stock Mayhem event in honor of my good announcer friend Mike Leggett, who passed away the other week ago, and I'm doing that race in his honor. So looking forward to it. It's going to be exciting. Going to be fun. We got to get off the air. We'll have the winners on from next week on and the winner is, and for the Racing Devil, Mike Neff. I am the Ringmaster Motorsports, Wesley Outland, and as always, we appreciate you tuning in to And the Winner is Motorsports Show, broadcast of the ETV Live Online Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Big thanks to John Wesleyan in Indianapolis, Indiana, running the boards, and keep your thoughts and prayers for our executive producer, J.D. Webb, who just came out of a successful surgery over the weekend. Going to be out for a couple of months, but our thoughts and prayers are still with you, buddy. As always, good night. God bless. Don't forget, RSR Full Throttle Cup Series Championship final race at Homestead tonight with me and Michael Keaton for the call.
And now it's time for And the Winner is Motorsports Show, a production of the ETV Live Auto Sports Entertainment Network. Get ready for 2 fun-filled hours of racing dialogue, race results, commentary from drivers, promoters, sponsors, media dignitaries, and much, much more. And now, the Racing Devil, Mike Neff, and the Ringmaster of Motorsports, Wesley Outland. This is And the Winner is Motorsports Show.